What is up? We are back, episode 2. Welcome back to the podcast. By the time that you're seeing this video, we will actually have our first podcast up already. So highly recommend you check it out. Have it on Spotify, YouTube. What else? Apple. We're getting Apple Podcasts, right, but everything else that you can basically this the main sources of podcasts. You'll be able to listen to it. Follow our YouTube channel. Let's Talk Geek for a sec. Follow our Instagram. Let's Talk Geek Pod, and we have Twitter. We are just slowly getting into everything, but all the links will be displayed on everything that we upload this to.
Got a lot of stuff set up today.
Yep. Did a lot of work today. It's a little bit of a later podcast, but I mean we're getting everything rolling, so everything should be good, and we're just really excited for what's to come, and everything's gonna be good. How's your week going?
With my week going? Pretty good. I've been just fucking working all week, working like 10 hours a day, man. So I'm tired. I'm tired, but we're here, bro.
Nothing but a grind just to come back over here, do it again, and we make money and we do all this stuff. We got a few new equipment. You can't really see it, but and we got some posters up here too.
Decorated the wall finally.
New background type stuff. So we're really excited that we just keep on building for all this stuff up here. So without further ado, we would.
Josh.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, could not make it.
Josh couldn't make it. My roommate, he actually had to go to work, but we got the next best thing, the one and only. He wants to be called a Boogie the Long Way. Ladies and gentlemen, please introduce Anston Kelly.
Oh, he's coming. Okay, nice to meet you.
Thanks for joining us today, Anston. We're glad that we can actually make it. As we said the last podcast, our topic today is anime. Mm-hmm. So we thought, let's bring someone, a big time expert on anime. So I thought, there's my homie, my Jack boy.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know too much about anime.
Again, my knowledge is kind of glitchy here and there. I have watched a few animes in the past, but we're just gonna talk off just what we're gonna keep on going through. But Anston, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, Anston Brian Kelly. Hashtag A Boogie the Long Way, not just Boogie. A Boogie the Long Way. Hashtag doing the right way. Big anime guy. I've been an anime fan since 6th grade, early middle school. It's been more of a tool to help find my own identity.
I feel that.
Being a bigger person and classified as an athlete, anime makes me feel more of me. So, big anime watcher.
I got you. How long have you been watching anime for?
Since 6th grade, so damn near, 12? That's when you start 6th grade? Yeah, 12, 14 type shit.
Yeah. What was your first one that you first got into? What's the first one that you watched, and which one, like?
First one I watched was Dragon Ball Z Kai. It was the first one.
Yeah. Like on Nickelodeon and stuff, or? Because that's where it used to pop on. Toonami.
Yeah. So watch Kai on Toonami.
Like Nicktoons.
And then when Kai got cut off, went to finish Yu-Gi-Oh! Remember I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! On Toonami. And then Samurai Jack. Those were the first 3 I ever sat and finished.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I'd say anime has pretty made just like world perspective. It really comes in with changing people's lives, and you can really see that because the development of the characters, especially every single character they make in different shows, it kind of represents a certain person, who you are in life as well. Mm-hmm. I know that again. I'd say my first anime was Dragon Ball Z, of course, and that was because I didn't find it on my own. My mom back in high school, or whenever back after high school, she used to watch it a lot, and I just remember glimpsing pieces of it. I didn't really pay attention as much, but as I grew up older, I was like, man, I remember these guys just screaming their freaking lungs out, but I thought it was cool at the same time. I just remember the blonde hair, so I searched for the blonde hair and later found Super Saiyan and all this stuff, and
good motivation.
You're for real, right? Just some workout motivation right there. But I saw all 9 seasons of Dragon Ball Z first, and then kind of just opened up a more variety pack of a whole bunch of animes that I actually wanted to get into. Cowboy Bebop which is honestly
just finished that when it got to Netflix.
Yeah.
In my opinion, again, this is my opinion. I honestly think it's the best anime ever, and then that's in my opinion. I might get some haters, I might get some lovers, but that show is pretty. Wow, like that, like again, it's wow. I love it. There's nothing that I can't really complain about it. What kind of sense does it come to whenever I guess you can classify like anime as just cartoons too, right? Isn't anime just kind of just cartoons in general, or am I wrong?
It's more when it has like I think a Japanese
just type stuff.
origin. Like some people would say Avatar is like an anime. Some people would say it's just a cartoon. It really kind of depends. Just stuff like that. Cowboy Bebop, I think. It's obviously.
Before is obviously anime, and also kind of
Dragon Ball Z, I think. Well, yeah.
The structure of the drawings as well. You can kind of tell, even like without, I guess, I don't know. In my sense, whenever you see these shows and they talk in like the the English dub, and the characters you're looking at, I guess you can kind of like just hint at that, like, oh, it's Japanese, or they like in your mind you're like, oh, they're Japanese, you know.
You can differentiate that.
Yeah, so I guess like it just kind of differs with like cartoons and all that stuff or whatever. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like you said, Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So Yu-Gi-Oh is an anime. I've always thought that was just like a cartoon.
So a big how it was said, the big debate about it really comes from Avatar: The Last Airbender, which was, is it a cartoon or anime? And a lot of people would differentiate on it just because of the drawing style, how it's not a traditional anime drawing style, but anime in a whole is just short for animation.
Yeah.
So technically anything can be anime if it's classified as anime.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a hot topic for the past couple years, because then people are like, okay, you can't have everything be anime. Because then you're like, okay, the Powerpuff Girls, that's not anime.
It's cartoon.
But if you look at Pokemon, that's an anime. Has a manga, it's an anime. So it's more what you want to classify it as.
Okay. You can see that then. So can I classify like Bakugan as anime?
Yes.
Okay, I was like,
Bakugan, Beyblade,
Bakugan, Beyblade, Yu-Gi-Oh, those three for sure. You will always get somebody like, oh no, those are anime. Those are anime. You won't get really much pushback on it.
Yeah, you can kind of tell. Those are the part of the few that you can kind of see.
Just if you look at the hair, you'll
exactly. Yeah.
If it's half the character's body height, that's an anime.
Spiky hair,
exotic
colors,
shine,
all this.
A little bit of shine on it.
Exactly. Honestly, like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I mean, anime is like weird, but like in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like really, really, really out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And I think that's what also makes it kind of fun. Even like it doesn't even really pertain to just like the kid genre, like a younger genre, because honestly, you understand shows like these a little bit more whenever you're older.
Oh, yeah.
So, whenever people do say like, "Oh, like you watch anime, you think like you like all this stuff," well, I mean, there's a deeper meaning to every single thing that you're watching, and that kind of goes with just like movies in general. Whenever we watch it, like something when we're young, we gotta rewatch it again when we're older because we don't understand, like, we don't know everything that we know now. So. I guess this is kind of a point in the podcast where we say we highly recommend for those non-anime watchers to really like give it a shot. It really pays off in the end, and you know there's certain different animes that really gets you, and even if it's not relatable at all, there's just animes that are just great in general.
You'll always find one, at least one of them you can kind of relate to, or you're gonna feel some kind of connection to. If you keep looking, there's so many out there.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of different genres too that you can just explore. You can find whatever really suits you. I suppose there's romance, comedy, action.
Exactly. See,
it's a bunch of different ones.
It's a movie in cartoon form, or show in cartoon form. You know, it's just anime. That is awesome. I guess we can keep on basing off of that. I guess let's go into like a certain anime, and if you don't mind, I hope that this is what we planned for the show. We're gonna start off with one, and we're just gonna keep on going with it. But me and Brandon had agreed that we wanted to talk about the Dragon Ball series. in particular, I say we're both most familiar with Dragon Ball Z as like the most, and we watched. Have you watched Super as well?
Yeah.
The regular like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT. So we've all kind of just gone through that. I guess just from my perspective, it being my first anime, you know, of course, like I really had a big attachment to it. I just, my opinion, you know, Dragon Ball first was a very slow start for me. I thought it was good, but it was just like you know, like what the hell? This is like the age development of Goku from a kid all the way up to like his adult, well, like I guess after teenage adulthood, like in that middle, we come to the point leading on to Dragon Ball Z where that's the big shit. Like that's everything, like right there. That's honestly like without Dragon Ball Z, I think that foundation of Dragon Ball just couldn't be as much as it is today, because we kind of see that even though, you know, either there are other animes developing and other animes that have developed in the past, we see that Dragon Ball Z is an icon to others. It's the again, you know, I hope I'm saying it right, but like it's a top anime of all time.
It is. I think in every anime that's gonna come out and every anime that's ever been, there's always gonna be that comparison of like, but can they beat Goku though? Like, are they stronger than Goku though? That's always gonna be.
We see what really like drew me into the show is just that motivation and drive. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you kind of tell in the show Goku's a dumbass sometimes, but you're not the brightest of them all. But we see the development of, I guess, like from Dragon Ball Z, the shock that we could later find out that Goku is, you know, another race. He's not human. And as we see, like in Dragon Ball, we do see him with a tail. He turns into a great ape, of course, but we kind of like really don't know like what is really going on there. So for us to like later find out, oh, it's like they really, I feel like they really thought of the process of, okay, let's make them off-world. Let's bring this race called the Saiyans. They go over there. They bring in a big upcoming rising villain, Vegeta, and the Saiyans. Of course, it was just two of them at the time. To the point where, like, along the story, we see like also a development of two main characters, Goku and Vegeta, from evil to, I guess you could say, it goes from like anti-hero to actually hero, right? If I'm not wrong. And just a lot of stuff that just keeps on going. Like it Dragon Ball Z hits us with a different type of saga where we couldn't really thought about it. And it's like Saiyans, the Frieza saga, which we get introduced Super Saiyan into it. After that, we get the Android, the Cell, and then they end with the Buu saga, which is a good mixture of just everything that comes together and what makes the show really, I guess, just compact and tight. And we just see a lot of character development. We just don't know which way it was going to go at first. But I'd say that it really ended on a really good note as well. And then, of course, we got the other series.
Of course, GT. You gotta give love to GT.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. It grows on you ish, but
it takes a while.
It takes a while for it to finally grow onto you. But I mean, again, seeing Goku strive in that show again. I guess I have like main character syndrome or whatever. But of course, Goku is my favorite character in the show. He really never quits, and honestly, you really see that he's limitless in the show. So because we kind of like see that he just powers up after that, gets something new every single time. And I guess also like other animes, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess like many main characters are limitless. We kind of don't really see. We kind of just see like they get something new every single time, to the point like what is their actual peak where they don't have to keep on
like holding back.
They're
usually holding back.
Or like whenever like when's it gonna stop? Whenever there's not gonna be any villain or someone else just in general that's stronger than them, to where they know they're finally the top dog. You know.
With that, and that's, some people would say that's a big problem of Dragon Ball. Since Goku, there's always somehow Goku can always pull out a different transformation just in the right nick of time, and that gets scrutinized I think a little too harshly, because you gotta remember, like the foundation being Dragon Ball, he's taught a form of martial arts, and the reason why his power can constantly grow outside of being an alien basically under earthly restrictions is because it has a foundation of ki, which is something you can find in real life situation where you can build sort of called your energy and your energy valves to continue to get stronger. So with other anime, it kind of just is based off the physics that they have. Like a prime example would be Demon Slayer. Like you're shown relatively early that there is a peak in Demon Slayer for both humans and for Demon Slayers and demons.
Side note, a beautiful show, by the way.
Beautiful show.
Very good.
Like you're shown, okay, like here's the peak, and then you're also shown the potential that the peak can be broken.
Yeah.
Like Tanjiro has the potential to be stronger than both characters combined. It's just how does he get there, and can he get there? So with Goku, especially like a prime example would be the Buu Saga when he's fighting Vegeta when he's in Majin form, and they're both in Super Saiyan 2. You're like, damn, Vegeta's kind of whooping Goku.
Yeah, right.
Like that Majin's like Kaioken, but Goku's not trying to pull out Kaioken because Buu's still getting out and about. He's still doing crazy stuff.
Yeah,
so
she
you gotta save your energy.
Yeah, she didn't show Super Saiyan 3 and
doesn't show Super Saiyan 3 to Vegeta
exactly.
at all.
And that's actually a key part in that saga as well, is that Vegeta's kind of like, oh, what the fuck? I guess I really wasn't top dog. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he was beating him, talking trash. Like, I caught you. You don't know what my pain's been like. You humiliated me all these years.
And that's kind of like, honestly, that's kind of like a dick move on Goku.
Oh yeah, no,
because like he was like he says like oh, I just didn't whip it out on you, you know.
Yeah, no, you weren't worth the time. That's what he's that's really what you weren't worth the time. Like there's a bigger fish that I gotta go fight. Like I understand, like you want a fair fight, cool, that can happen any day of the week. But if I give you this, I won't have it to give it to the person that can kill everybody here. Right. Think about like use your brain, which Vegeta at the time wasn't trying to hear all that. So, but that gives you another iconic moment where I think it's the Dodon Ray where he has him pinned up basically against a mountain with his like everything stuck, and he's basically shit talking for like a good minute where he's like years after years of embarrassment, and you like this is what you can finally stop to do. I know there's more in you. Just show me it. Goku's like, there's not. This is the limit. You won. Can we call this a quit? So it's just it's a mental thing. Like as much as people would say, oh no, Dragon Ball is just screaming and then big punches, there's always psychological stuff that you sometimes miss if you don't want to sit and watch it.
Right.
Now I get that.
That's a good
I mean, if we do like
it's one of the examples where as much as they portray Goku as being like kind of dumb, he's actually like kind of like really like he's a battle genius really when it comes to stuff like that.
I say whatever has a better breakdown of the show in general. I know Brandon is familiar, but are you familiar with the YouTube channel Team 4-Star?
Yeah.
So
love them.
And if you guys haven't seen it, they make abridged episodes where they just kind of put their voice over a bit.
Go watch it.
Please go watch
Please
it.
go watch it.
But what's funny about them is that they actually, whenever they voice over the characters, they portray the characters as other people see them. Like we see that, of course, Goku's a dumbass. Goku's a bad father apparently. Piccolo's
Krillin's weak as fuck.
Krillin's like the weakest of them all.
Jump to 138.
Vegeta is a crybaby. Piccolo is the real father figure of Gohan. Like they see like the actual perspectives of like what we I guess kind of portray to see.
Like the
stereotypical for Dragon Ball Z.
Stereotypes.
Which I think is pretty funny in a sense. But I guess talking back to what you said about how, humiliating Vegeta, I say that whenever we're battling against like I know there's always been people saying like, oh, I like Vegeta more than Goku. Vegeta's character arc, in a sense, where we don't go as deep as we do with Goku, it's a pretty deep arc for Vegeta because he honestly has like a very sad life if you really think about it. The planet being blown up, the only like true. Of course, Goku is full Saiyan, but he's the only true Saiyan that really tries to stay true to his roots. Can't pick up to Goku. Always kind of just like the second in command, and he just goes. I feel like he goes through a lot. He has gone through a lot more than what Goku could honestly imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Because Goku, again, it could be just how the writers make the story, but like him just always getting stronger, whereas Vegeta's actually trying, and then he catches up to him, and then Goku just takes that next step, and then he leaves Vegeta behind, and now he's like, well, now I need to get there again, just because he always wants to ride.
And that kind of shows like in real life as well that like either it could be us or it could be someone else. We're still trying to catch up to someone, or someone's trying to catch up to us, and that kind of portrays into like the real life situations that we were talking about earlier that anime portrays. That there's always these characters represent us or others in life, and that's what makes also like that's why I think Dragon Ball is beautiful in my opinion. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it is a beautiful concept of everything. But yeah, I mean that's just Dragon Ball, you know. I guess we can just hop on to like anything else. Anything you want to talk about?
What's your favorite right now? That you've been...
Right now,
Yeah.
it's a tie between Demon Slayer and Fire Force.
Okay.
I actually haven't seen Fire Force. I am familiar with Demon Slayer though.
You haven't seen Fire Force.
I've
Would you like to expand on what Fire Force is? So
yeah. I know it's got to do with firefighters. I know it's a little. I know that much. I know they put out fires.
I can actually search this up just to see what these characters look like.
Don't look. Hey, just be careful what you find. You're gonna find some.
Y'all seen Demon Slayer though, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So, how do I explain Fire Force? Well, I'll stay on until Nene gets a good amount of information on Demon Slayer. On Fire Force, I'll stay on Demon Slayer. I got Demon Slayer rated as a good 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 as an overall anime.
Very much so.
I would say a big weak point for me for it is characters. And that's strange to say because they have such good defined characters. It's more of like a personal vendetta. How to explain? Zenitsu gives me a Sakura effect. Like early on when you first meet him, he feels like a Sakura, like, okay, I know Inosuke's gonna run it in all the time, guns blazing. Cool, love to see it. I know Tanjiro was gonna wait, calculate, okay, cool, guns blazing. And Zenitsu, like for the first couple episodes, he's just crying and crying and crying until you get a glimpse of why it happens in a flashback. But if you read the manga, and I don't want to spoil it, but I'll spoil it.
I read a little bit.
If you read the manga, basically, I won't say finesse, but he gets basically finesse. Like he marries a girl, she leaves him bankrupt. Now he has to work off his debt. He gets the last Thunder Hashira says, no way, hey, I'll pay off his debt. I want to train the kid. Trains him, and then the firstborn pupil leaves mysterious ways. If you have read the manga, you know how he leaves and why he left. But leaves in mysterious ways, and then because of how he left, the previous Thunder Hashira has to kill him, like commit seppuku, and nobody was there to behead their master, because it's always the highest ranking or the first student's job to behead as a normal tradition. So since Zenitsu was gone and the first student was gone, he died in disgrace. So when Zenitsu and the first student meet up a second time, it's a bunch of character development, because the only way he can use his real skill is when he's unconscious or like sleeping. But when he gets to that big fight and that big character development, it's when he can start using his full potential
just
normally. Like how Sakura in Shippuden, because beforehand, I take a bag of stale chips before I take Sakura into a mission. At least a bag of stale chips can keep me not starving. Sakura, I don't think can even do that. But after she fights Sasori, then it's like, okay, no, Sakura can contribute. Not much, but she at least can contribute to where it's not like, okay, if I'm Naruto and Sasuke, all right, I got to fight the villain and keep Sakura safe. Now it's just I can focus on fighting the villain. So there's character development, which I think after the entertainment district is going to just jump for a lot of characters, because a lot of things are going to get brought up. Since I think the manga is getting very close to being finished publicly, like after being finished published. So when the anime catches up, it's just character development, which I think is going to make Demon Slayer as an anime perfect.
Yes.
Like I don't think outside of Fire Force, any new age anime can compete.
How recent is Fire Force?
Came around the same time as Demon Slayer. I think they came out in the same season.
Okay.
Like
Well, I actually looked at like some pictures. It looks pretty cool. So just firefighters or what?
Basically, yeah. You have different levels of pyrokinetics, like different generations. Of third generation, you can produce fire on your own volition. So depending on where that fire comes out is where that fire comes out. Second generations can control fire once it's ignited. So like if you shot a gun, then the ignition from the powder and the pin hitting that makes that little fire burst, you can control that.
I feel like I've seen like clips or something.
The first lieutenant can do that. That's his ability. He's a second generation. And I don't think they've shown first generations yet. Or I can't recall the first generation one. But you see a lot of second and thirds, and it's not a power scaling system. With like how much fire you can produce. They are like special flames, but that's just more like a roll of the dice or birth given effect. But everything else is just how can you practically use your ability to be stronger than somebody else. Like there are some broken abilities. Like if you can control if you're a second gen who can control the ignition of a gun, and I can produce fire from my feet, I'm probably gonna have a speed advantage over you.
Are they firebenders or what?
Basically, yeah. Like most third generations, you can consider firebenders, and then some second generations are more or less like fire users.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, this actually sounds pretty interesting. We're gonna have to definitely check that out.
How many? You said there's
2 seasons out right now.
Seasons?
Season 3 is I think it should come out next release season. So this summer should be out this summer.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I would definitely take a look into that. I know that, like, in the beginning we had talked about, I guess, like the animation, like anime between cartoon or whatever. Yeah. And I would actually really like to get into, if it was okay with all you, about Avatar. Last Airbender, of course. And I hope that everyone's familiar with that. I honestly, like, I feel like our generation, as a young generation, we, like, Nickelodeon in general kind of helped out showing shows, but I would say that watching Avatar was a big, like, I guess, like, for it to be on TV with the skills of seeing, like, these silly cartoon shows to actually have something serious on Nickelodeon.
Right.
Greatest show of all time. You can at me at AJBK_. It is the greatest show of all time.
Okay.
You're talking about anime show or show?
The greatest show. Anything to be put on television. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Quote me at AJBK_. Is the greatest to be put on television.
He said it.
I guess we gotta quote it.
I guess it's quoted.
So, first episode is whenever Greg gets out of the iceberg right away. It kind of just like I think the intro is one of the most iconic intros of all time. Honestly, I never really skip it every time it comes on.
No, that's like the one intro. I'll skip every other intro to every other anime after I watch it the first time. The first couple times.
You give it a first time watch.
Yeah.
But this one
you can't
keep on watching it because honestly, like you
kind of feel something.
It feels something that plays like the biggest part of like the whole show and just in general. Introduced to
Katara and Sokka,
and they find Aang in the iceberg, of course, and then we also see Prince Zuko, which we believe is he's a fucking twat in the first few seasons.
He's a villain.
I mean he's a villain though, but the way that they described it as how many years that he disappeared 100 years ago. So Aang is supposed to be like 100 or something.
112.
He's a little, like 11-year-old kid.
And he doesn't know. Like he's in shock. Everything just hits him at once, which is kind of like I guess like in how we would see if we got frozen. When we picture like futuristic cars and shit like that or whatever. But since this is, I guess, what kind of time would you say that is? Like I don't know why I was about to say medieval. That sounds so stupid. But like.
Think about it. You could say it's a medieval time with just modern interpretations.
Okay,
there's modern government systems, and then but they don't have modern technology.
Yeah.
So it's not wrong to say medieval times with modern interpretations.
But it's kind of like how he's in shock of how we would be in shock if we were like we lost that much time in life.
Oh yeah.
And he's just slowly learning like everyone used to be at peace, all this stuff it's kind of weird is that we really don't see that. But and I don't know if I guess if I didn't pay attention enough or anything, but we really don't see the like any point of description of why they collided, or was it when who was the Avatar Roku, right?
It was Avatar Roku.
So that's kind of like when the fire.
Yeah, so
They-
Avatar. And the funny thing is, when you first watch it, because it's set up very like the intro set up very like intelligently to where all of the background information that you need to know quickly is in the intro.
Right.
Like everything's chill and cool until the Fire Nation attacked. Avatar Roku was needed at the most dire time. He dipped. And then you don't learn the cause or why he dipped until much later. But all you know is, everything was about to set off. We needed one key person to bring peace, and he left. Mm-hmm. And then same like he leaves. 12 years pass, and then the Avatar selection process is brought to Aang. Aang picks the right toy, and then he's stated as the new Avatar. And then at first, like a couple good months pass to where he's like, "Oh, this is fun. Like, I'm an Avatar. It's a weird title.
He finds out the truth.
I gotta learn that I gotta bend other elements. No biggie.
Finds out the pressure.
No biggie." And then they sit him down and say, "Hey, no, like this is what you gotta do. World peace."
Mm-hmm.
But what does that mean?
What do you want a 12-year-old to do with that information? Mm-hmm. So he does what any kid would do. Leaves, runs away, gets frozen, and then you pick up back when he gets frozen, then it's like, oh, yeah, no, man, your problem didn't disappear in 100 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You only got 100 years worse.
Yeah, for real.
So instead of having your lifetime to figure out world peace, I need you to do it in a summer.
Yeah.
I need you to figure it out in 6 months.
But we also see
elements.
That he's able to do it. Yeah, like that's what makes him a G. You know, like
until Legend of Korra, until his granddaughter beats his time to become an air nomad master. I forgot what they call them themselves, but Aang, up until his granddaughter, I forget her name, he was the youngest air nomad master. He was the youngest to ever receive the tattoos at 12 years old. So, in perspective, like I'm gonna give you half a year to figure out world peace. So like any other 12-year-old, that is brutal. That's a brutal task. That's something you wouldn't want to put on a kid, but
because they can probably barely imagine what
yeah,
world peace even means.
like even think about it. But funny enough, I had a different conversation with a friend of mine, my older friend Ashad, and we were talking about it. He was like, because it was an argument over who's stronger, Aang or Katara. Not Aang or Katara, Aang or Korra. Mm-hmm. And a big part he brought up about Aang was a genius who had to then boost his potential to gain more talent. Korra was she was born talented with limited potential. Mm-hmm. That's why the last bending she had to do, which is all based on potential and letting go of desires, was so struggling for him. Mm-hmm. Versus vice versa with Aang, every other element takes a certain amount of talent to master. That's why Earth was such a hard thing outside of the psychological reasons behind each bending element's nature. It was just the talent for him to do it was always that first layer of struggle. And once he believed he had the talent to do so, that's why 6 months didn't seem hard.
Yeah. Can we take a moment to remember that Tenzin is J.K. Simmons?
Yeah.
That is
again like that guy just. If he helps in this show, shit. I mean, he's.
You see a bald guy with a beard, that's J.K.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons is all they fucking need. In general, the Avatar saga again, just pertaining to Aang, is just amazing, phenomenal. And again, as Anston says, he does believe it's the greatest show of all time.
I do.
I don't think any show is written any better. If I'm being quite honest.
No, it's like
think about it. I don't think
it's pretty solid. I remember whenever it came back on Netflix, like recently, a year ago, it came on Netflix, I think, right? During quarantine, it was a pretty easy watch, easy and great watch. I finished it in like 3 days, like everything. Hold Holy cow!
It's pretty mature for coming out at its time and
For it being on Nickelodeon, like a Nickelodeon show.
You watch other cartoons that came out around that time that we were watching, and you're like, this is a real kid show. But then you look at this one, you're like, it's a kid show, but it's mature enough to be a grown person can watch a show and actually enjoy it.
Yeah, I think a very good story arc in that. Do you guys remember the season when they go into that temple, the library?
The owl?
Yeah, the owl where Toph's trying to hold the.
But
that episode was great, right? I mean, we see everything, but the moment when everyone splits up, like the Appa and the Momo, right? Is his name? Momo, where everything. But they tell like the certain story arcs of everyone at the Earth Kingdom, right? Yeah.
I think I want to say that's Earth Book. I want to say it's Book 1. I think that's Earth Book 1.
Earth Book 1. In my opinion, my favorite. I think the best story arc out of all those is a story of what's Zuko's uncle's name again?
Iroh.
That's a very heartfelt story.
Again,
because of his tree for his son. I'm gonna be kind of real here, but if you have daddy issues, you will cry. On that story arc, if you have daddy issues, you will cry. I know that hit me in a different way. Those arcs, in general, just like I think that's one of my favorite part of the show is them telling different stories of it. You see Zuko becomes the blue face guy again, right? The blue mask. We see the struggle with Aang and how he really missed Appa. Appa went through a lot of shit as well. I think Appa went through the most shit.
Poor
animal.
Exactly. Of course, we see Momo is just doing his thing.
Zuko's sister.
Azula,
she has a good arc because she comes in as kind of like the super powerful. She seems like this OP character, and then right on like her final scenes when she battles Zuko, finally at the end she just crumbles.
Yeah, exactly.
You see all that perfection and like all that power just into like nothing.
What would you call that? Like I mean, I feel like, the Fire Lord always saw her as his favorite, right? Yeah. So, but I think she always wanted mother's love, right? That's
what she was always. Missing.
So I guess like whenever she finally broke down, who beat her at the end? It was
Zuko.
Zuko fought her for a bit, and then it was.
So they fought, and technically Zuko won because in the rules of Agni Kai, it's a one-on-one duel. Once you involve somebody else, you forfeit. So Azula was losing, and then she was like, "Well, if I'm gonna lose, I'm not gonna lose on my own. Somebody gotta die." Tries to throw lightning at Katara. Zuko catches it and he knows the redirection, so he's like, okay, I can do one of two things: hold this or throw it back at my sister. I can't hurt my sister, so he keeps it, which messes him up. And then Azula's like, "Ha, I win!" And then she tries to go after Katara.
Katara rocks her shit.
Katara rocks her shit. This isn't gonna be a heavyweight bout. I'm gonna hit and move, and then finally catches her with either water whips or chains and freezes Azula.
Yeah, she freezes. Yeah, she gets frozen.
She gets her in the chains and like that great thing, and then
in the great, and then that's when Azula loses her absolute mind.
Which Zuko, amazing character development, honestly.
That is stellar.
I love like he was like
almost Vegeta-esque.
Vegeta-esque, right? But like Zuko really wanted to. Again, Zula trying to please mom, Zuko trying to please dad, and it's kind of weird how Zuko's just blinded of just his whole thing is just I need to find the Avatar. I need to find the Avatar. Like that's the only thing he knew since birth, and
but he was only doing that because of his dad.
Yeah,
and then it's like, damn, my dad's
and
a piece of shit.
You see that Uncle Iroh is he's always been, I guess, good. Right? Would you say that?
I was always been a good guy.
I was always been a good guy. He never wanted to. But I mean, but you hear in the background where like Iroh is, aren't you the general that did all like in this battle?
Iroh is always considered a better person than Sozin, and he's always going to be considered a good guy because the invasion of the Earth Kingdom wasn't as sadistic as it turned out to be once Iroh left the battlefield after his son's death. Mm-hmm. At first, it was just normal war stuff. Come in, surrender, no battle. I won. Take. It didn't get sadistic until his son died. And I was like, look, I can't be in no more wars. Like I'm dropping. I'm having to put down.
And that's why he takes Zuko like kind of as the son-esque of him because he wants to protect Zuko as well.
Yeah. So Iroh leaves, and then Sozon's like, well, hey, Dad, if he's giving up, I can do it. Mm-hmm. This will get done quick.
Yeah.
And then that's when everything gets a little bit more sadistic and more aggressive.
A good example of, whenever, I guess like dawning on that Zuko's father the Fire Lord doesn't really care about him. Uncle Iroh is, I guess you could say like, not really a stepdad, but a dad that stepped up and really took the dawn of Iroh that, you try to guide him the right way. He's letting Zuko do his own thing.
Yeah.
But not try to get out of control until things actually do get out of control later on, and we see the arrest of Iroh and Zuko thinking that everything's all good with his family again. Later find out like nah. Zuko though evil to
good
to good, but again like how you said that like he couldn't kill his sister.
Yeah,
that's the good development of the character where like. Because Zuko's, is it said that Zuko's done some bad shit in the past? Or like, because he's pretty young whenever.
Yeah. And so the reason why I feel like it's one of the best show is when you look at it, when you watch it as a kid, you're watching it more for the fight scenes. When you watch it when you're older, you're realizing Aang's 12, Katara and Sokka are like 15, 16.
Some young ones.
Toph, 14, 15. Azula and Zuko are like 15, 16, 17. Mm-hmm. These are all children. Right. Having to deal with real like global changes as kids. Mm-hmm. Like the only two people that have training for it is Azula and Zuko because they're royalty. Aang's a 12-year-old kid doing it off the tip of his whim. Same with Katara and Sokka. They're trying to change the world as kids. So when they finally get to their final development, you've seen yourself in them as a child grow to what would be adulthood in their verse, which is just you being in where we are right now in college. Right. So that's why when Zuko finally goes from bad to good, it's really just going from a rebellious teenager to a young adult.
And also, like, I guess towards the end of the show with the final, of course, the biggest thing that ever led up. So we got that,
great.
What season was it? It was like the big attack on the Fire Kingdom, but we find out the Fire Lord's not even there. Like, that was kind of like their, cliffhanger or some shit.
The attack of, when they invade on Sozon's comet.
Yeah, so that was they knew it, but then also, that's what we always been built up to, because, like, the Avatar has to kill. Like they even mentioned you have to kill the Fire Lord. Yeah. Then we finally get an amazing fight. Like holy shit, that's a great fight. But we also see like as we don't really see in like a lot of animes, mercy. Like Aang as a young kid, 14 shows mercy to the Fire Lord, strips him of his fire. I guess like takes
his bending away.
Takes his bending away, but like for him to like, he found another way. As we see in all these animes, there's always like a big final attack. Yeah. That like finally just wipes out, like completely wipes out. I think a good example would be and I'm gonna use it because this is one of the examples is Gohan versus Cell. The biggest Kamehameha wave ever. And Gohan just fucking doesn't even hold back. Like, he just fucking annihilates him. And his name is Cell. They literally rip every single Cell apart. Mm-hmm. But for Aang to do that, like, again, like, I guess we see that, at one point, does Aang catch lightning, right?
Yeah.
So he catches it, and he redirects it, right? Yeah. He redirects it somewhere else, goes up to him, does, like, a little, like, finger combo, and, like...
He made that to... Yeah, he almost got overtaken when they had that whole orange and blue scene.
Yeah.
And it was, like, overtaken by the orange, and went all the blue.
The same pressure points in the earlier season, the sea turtle touches Aang.
Yeah.
It's the same pressure points he touches the middle part of your sternum, and then your tip of your forehead, and that just activates. Like lets you see a glimpse of their bending, and then that the orange and blue scene, the good versus light, the good versus bad. So, great show, best show.
Great show, and of course, like towards the end, it really, it ends show wise.
Yeah, no,
it ends show wise, but then
you get comics after
You
and
get spin-offs.
yeah, the comics will just
say like what like because we see
what happens afterwards.
Zuko tries to find wants to know where his mom's at.
Tries to figure she's in the spirit.
Aang and Katara get together.
Yeah, I mean we see like the relationship of that. Did we see something of
You never know about Toph's relationships, and then I think you get glimpses of Sokka's, but nothing of him ever like settling down and doing anything crazy. And but most of the comics are just the rebuilding of the world since what happened with the Fire Nation, and then just the small problems that may pop up every now and then.
So would you say that? I mean, would that have been enough for like another like season or?
Yeah, no, you could have. Yeah. With all the comics, you could have had like a first good couple seasons based off strictly the comics, and then just free handwritten everything else to connect it until you get to when Aang dies early on in the Legend of Korra, and then all.
It could have just been like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get you. Oh yeah, I mean that freaking Avatar, man. I guess just I guess we could just throw like a little bit of anime there. I mean, like say you want to run this for an hour.
For an hour, I'd see if we have the battery life for it.
What does it say?
It's at like 6%. I don't know.
Well, just real quick, I guess you know what? I guess we can kind of like just a little kind of closing statement. Throwing out just some other animes and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys ever seen an anime called Cells at Work. That's a badass show. So
funny.
The whole concept of it is just basically anatomy, but in anime form. So like, so it's pretty funny. White cell dude that likes to like kill a lot of diseases in the body that happens and like what actually happens inside of our body, but they just make it in cartoon form. Great watch.
How old is this?
Came out. Not 29.
It's on Netflix.
Came out 2020.
Oh,
2018. 2018. So it is a newer one. Other great anime. Again, we see as childhood development. I know we've also mentioned that Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. Like those are. What would you say? I guess. The way I'm gonna say it is that like I say like those shows like we see like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Bakugan. Those are our toy cartoon or anime like appreciations because we see that's been a big genre because they were able to produce it out in the real world. You can't really produce out energy attacks in the real world, but whenever they place cards, little toys, all that stuff, I just remember enjoying like playing the fuck out of all of them.
I still have all my Beyblades.
Dude, I remember just spinning the fuck out of like Beyblades like crazy. I remember
Never lost.
Never lost.
Never lost.
So undefeated champ.
20-0, never lost.
Oh, let's go.
Okay. Maybe next one we'll
do a little just maybe on the side to see if to bring some shit in there. I think out of all of them, I think honestly I like Bakugan the most. Honestly, Bakugan was pretty good because I mean
game for that one.
There was a game.
love playing. I love that game.
But I think I loved it too much because it was on Cartoon Network. I used to watch Cartoon Network a lot. So whenever it just came on, I remember I would just watch every single episode. Good. I want to say good story arc. It was just fun to watch. Maybe I need to rewatch it again to understand, like, I guess, what the fuck is going on. But I just love. I think it was just really to draw attention for toys in general. So and then we see that, of course, Pokemon is top gear out of, I guess, quote unquote, like toys, collectibles type stuff. We see that like these cards, and I guess you can go for Yu-Gi-Oh as well. You can everyone likes to trade. Everyone wants to buy. Everyone likes I guess the shiny, the original, all this other crap that people just love to buy off. And I think it's really made a big impact for, I guess, to Pokemon Go, where we see grown ass people and little kids
walking
playing
around.
Exactly. So again, just in general, anime making a big impact in the world. Last thing I guess I just really want to talk about is kind of just to wrap it up, but we see in most interpretations that, and I'm saying this because of Jump Force. You guys know the game Jump Force?
Yeah.
But also there have been other animes that we see that there are 3, I guess, animes that are portrayed in a lot of different series, or a lot of different like games, concept arts, just illustrations in general that are, I guess you can kind of say, are top is big impact of generations, which would be Dragon Ball, Naruto, and
I think
One Piece.
Is
So how do you guys feel that that trio of Goku, Naruto, and Luffy, those
Luffy?
Huh?
Luffy.
Sorry. And sorry.
I don't watch One Piece.
That they I don't really pay. I watched it here and there, but I didn't really pay attention. But how does that make y'all feel that those are like the trio?
That's the big 3.
Those are the big 3 of anime.
It is.
But I mean, like again, not like just like in my opinion. I wouldn't say that in my opinion, but like they've shown an actual,
Those who know and those who don't know and those who have been waiting. Ichigo is in that big 3. Goku's not a part of that big 3.
Go wow.
Hot. You can have that hot take.
Okay, cool. We're cool. Well,
Yeah.
Anston, fuck you.
I always see it substituted as
Goku.
One Piece can be substituted for Bleach. That's one that I always.
Nah. One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach are that big 3 that y'all are talking about. Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon are in the same generation.
I'm not talking about generation.
No, but I know I get what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
like the 3 main ones that get displayed. Yeah, it's basically like the father of the big 3,
Which is Dragon Ball.
which would be Goku, which would be Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
The firstborn child, which would be Naruto. The middle child, Luffy, and then since Bleach had a cancelization mid 2000s, it's kind of been left out of the dark. But those who know the big 3, Ichigo, Luffy, Naruto, Goku's like the dad.
Yeah.
So he's just watching. Like,
Yeah.
he already did his thing. He's just kind of like this is the guy. I mean, would you say Dragon Ball the foundation?
Yeah, he's the grandfather.
So I mean, like again, that's where we kind of all started, and that's where I really.
What would you say the new big 3 are for this new age?
Yeah.
Demon
Demon
Slayer,
Slayer, Fire Force, and Black Clover will probably go down as the new generation big 3. I don't think any other. You have a shot with My Hero Academia.
You think that's? I think it's more so because that one's just very popular.
That one may make it just because it's popular.
It's a good starter, I would say.
In my opinion, for watchability, Fire Force, Demon Slayer, and Black Clover are the big 3.
Mm-hmm.
In popularity, I think Fire Force will drop off, and My Hero Academia will go in. But in my opinion, if you like My Hero Academia, quit watching anime. You're not at all. You're not valid in the community. You'll never be valued in the community.
Oh man, I do see a lot of people hate on that show for like a bit, but I mean, again, I honestly don't know why. I've watched like a few. I just didn't really get into it. It wasn't like my partake of stuff.
Pretty good. I like it.
I've seen some other stuff that I actually get into.
You seen the movie like Super High School? It came out.
Oh,
Sky
High.
High.
Okay.
That's my fault. Sky High.
That's just what it is.
That's what it is, bro.
I mean, Sky High was funny when I was
Essentially,
little, but.
It's Sky High.
Well, maybe I need to give it like another, just go around. Just
Give it a
because.
watch. You most definitely need to watch My Hero Academia. It's most definitely watch worthy. Until it's not, but
it's just not I wouldn't call it a favorite.
Yeah,
but it's one to watch. If you want to add to your belt of animes watch, and you haven't put that one on there,
yeah,
you should put it to
watch that one.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. And again, like as you can see within our podcast, we see that we have different takes on everything. We see again. I mean, I feel like I've said this a lot throughout the podcast, but I really want to just like expand it a bit. Anime is a must.
Yeah.
Anime is definitely a must. It is for majority of all ages. I mean, I guess like if you're a grown ass person and you watch anime, I don't think you really want to portrayed on a young kid if you know what it is. But I mean, if they do see it, it is also like a growing experience for them too, because I feel like they'll have a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah.
They'll learn stuff from it.
Don't be afraid to watch it.
If you're an adult and you want to watch anime, one I recommend is called Blood C. Blood capital letter C. If you've seen it before, you know what I'm talking about. You're nodding your head when I said it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Okay. I haven't seen it, so I'll put that one on the list.
We gotta put this on the list. Probably we do like more stuff about that. But we see it's anime is a big part in people's lives, and it will continue to thrive as the years keep on going by. I guess for ending the show, we'll go from Anston to Brandon to me. Say like three animes you should definitely watch. And I mean by like just over like every anime, like 3 must.
3 must.
I'll say the generic ones. So I'll let you stick with that one.
Yeah, and so you can go more in deep with all the other ones, and Brandon can go off.
Okay. Go watch Cowboy Bebop. You need to go watch Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
Cowboy Bebop.
I haven't seen that.
Fire. You don't gotta watch Fire. I'd say go watch Fire Force.
Okay,
I'd
we'll say that.
That's
we'll
2.
go Cowboy Bebop, Fire Force, and then to end it, go watch Trigun.
I'd have to watch that too. I need to watch that.
Go watch Trigun.
All right, Brandon.
As far as I'll stick with the mainstream ones that I'll say for sure watch Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is when it starts off really slow. It's kind of slow. I'm not gonna lie, because it's just a very serious show. But honestly, I kind of want to mention this. We didn't get a chance to mention this, but it's one anime show that has like 0 filler. We didn't kind of touch on that topic.
I know a lot of even like close friends that just love that show.
Maybe we'll do another anime.
We might have.
Episode.
We will definitely go. So that's one.
But that's Attack on Titan. I'd say we didn't talk about Jujutsu Kaisen either. That one's a really good one. There's a movie coming out for that one. That one's really good. It's really short.
I must have to catch up on some stuff.
It's pretty good. There's one on Netflix called, I forget what it's called. I think there's another part to it, but it's called Ragnarok. Something Records of Ragnarok. Yeah, it's basically this giant tournament.
Oh, okay.
And that one's
great.
Really good.
It's a great first. It's a great entrance.
Yeah.
Hopefully they animate the rest
So
of the
those are your
series.
3.
Yeah.
For me, again, I know I had mentioned it. Cells at Work. Honestly, if you want to get a good kick out of it, then yeah, you would definitely might want to watch that. Again, it's pretty mainstream, up to date now. If you're actually familiar within the anime concept, but also if you're not, Demon Slayer is a must watch. You literally cannot live that out. It's the most recent, most highest grossing, just like the impact of it is really great, and you should definitely watch it. And of course, as I'm just gonna end it, you should definitely watch Dragon Ball Z, but also the Dragon Ball saga in general. No matter how much people give it hate, love, everything about it, it is the foundation of what we have been talking about today, and we believe that. I believe that it is one of the greatest of all time, and it'll portray onto animes of generations years to come.
Last one, my fault. last on the dark, because I dropped Fire Force from that list. Go watch Noragami.
Oh, okay.
Go watch Noragami.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Origami and Black Sea are the 2.
So we gotta watch our animes, Brandon.
I guess so.
I guess we gotta catch up on all that.
I gotta update my list after today.
Well, this actually second episode. This was our longest podcast.
It was.
Yeah, so it was a success. Again, I would like to say that after watching this podcast, like I said in the beginning of the video, all our stuff will be uploaded, and we'll continue to do our thing.
We'll drop our socials.
We'll drop our socials.
Follow the socials. We'll post a lot more updates.
And if you guys would like to watch or listen wherever you're at, our next podcast will be off of video games. Something I'm very passionate about, really passionate about. So again, Anston, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, sir.
We actually really like what you had to say today. This is a great podcast that we'd like to have y'all, and thank y'all for watching, and thank y'all for listening to us as well. And this is Let's Talk Geek for a sec. I'm Nene.
I'm Brandon.
And we'll see y'all later.